So I come home from my classes. You know, it's a nice Friday afternoon, sunny. I come home from the class that I have on Friday. And before going home, I get a slice of pizza. I go to the local pizza place and I get a slice of pizza. And I come home from college. And I get on my computer. And what's the first thing that I see? I get a notification. Keith Woods, this YouTuber that I like, he's like your typical, like, nationalist, dissident, right-wing guy. Keith Woods uploaded a new video. Apparently, Nick Fuentes got banned from YouTube. Now, at first I shouldn't have been really surprised, but I kind of was surprised. And furthermore, I was kind of surprised that the only dissident right-wing YouTuber that I know of that made a video about this so far was Keith Woods. I thought that more people would stand up for Nick Fuentes, but apparently not. So then, after watching Keith Woods' video, I go to Nick Fuentes' YouTube channel. Guess what? It's missing. It's gone. Now, of course, the Nick Fuentes Clips YouTube channel is still there, but that's it. So apparently it looks like Nick Fuentes got showed. It apparently looks like Nick Fuentes got unpersoned by the Hollywood cult, by our political opponents. Now here's the thing. I have my disagreements with Nick Fuentes, sure. I've talked about my various disagreements and my concerns with Nick Fuentes in the past. But here's the thing. One thing that really pisses me off is when the Hollywood cult, the anti-whites, censor dissidents. As far as I'm concerned, basically the entire world is ruled by a consensus of people that I call the Hollywood cult, that I've decided to start calling the Hollywood cult. And people that are against the Hollywood cult are what we call dissident right-wingers. Now, dissident right-wingers, if you've been on YouTube if you have been on this part of the YouTube for any significant amount of time, regularly get censored. And that, unfortunately, is the case with Nick Fuentes. Now, here's my thinking. As far as I'm concerned, despite my disagreements with Nick Fuentes, when the Hollywood cult censors a dissident on the right, as far as I'm concerned, that's an attack on all dissidents. That's an attack on the entire dissident right wing. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, as far as I'm concerned. So now I'm going to defend Nick Fuentes. I'm going to defend his right to be on YouTube. Now, here's the first thing that I'm going to say about Nick Fuentes. And again, I have my disagreements with Nick Fuentes. I'm not a shill for Nick Fuentes. I'm not really in the Groyper crowd. But what I will say about Nick Fuentes is that he does definitely, despite my criticisms of him that I've had in past videos, he's definitely a man that is not of cant, but conviction. Nick Fuentes is someone who really is not afraid to question the status quo. He's not someone that is concerned with pleasing he's not someone that is concerned with what is fashionable at the moment. He is a man of true conviction. Now, again, I've had my disagreements and concerns with the Groyber movement, but at least Nick Fuentes is not Rush Limbaugh. So that's the first thing that I will say. The second thing that I will say is that YouTube, the only reason why dissidents on the right get censored for hate speech is not because of the hate speech in and of itself. And it's not even because of the fear that dissidents will radicalize people to the point where we get, say, the New Zealand shooting, or Heather Heyer being killed. The only reason why these social media platforms want to censor us is because, and only because, our political ideas are a threat to the status quo. That's it. I mean, think about it. Why is PhilosophyTube able to, or actually not even just PhilosophyTube, people like PhilosophyTube or Bad Mouse Productions, why are they able to make one video after another spewing what can be considered hate speech against the rich, the capitalists? But then criticisms, even if it's mild criticisms against women or racial minorities or Jews or Muslims or whatever protected group, any mild criticisms of those groups is automatically considered hate speech by YouTube. But for some reason, you're allowed to say anything you want about the rich as a group, or capitalists as a group. Hello, okay, I wanted to clarify this part because this could be taken out of context. No, I don't believe that Bad Mouse Productions and PhilosophyTube should be censored. I'm simply using them as an example to show the hypocrisy of the Hollywood cult. I don't want anyone to be censored, regardless of whether it's Nick Fuentes or Bad Mouse Productions. I'm simply using them as an example to show the hypocrisy of it. I'm not calling for them to be censored. I don't want them censored. Okay, back to the initial video. You know, if YouTube persecuted people like Bad Mouse Productions in the same way that they persecute people like Nick Fuentes or James Allsup or Alex Jones, everyone would say that that's McCarthyism. You know, we call it McCarthyism when it's people like Joe McCarthy or other conservative types persecuting communists. But we don't call it McCarthyism when McCarthyism is done by progressives against people like Nick Fuentes. And keep in mind, Nick Fuentes is not really... Yes, he's definitely outside the mainstream. He's definitely outside the mainstream of conservative thought. But he's not a right-wing extremist in the same sense that you would characterize, say, Dr. William Pierce as a right-wing extremist. Compared to Dr. William Pierce, or some of the more extreme elements of the dissident right wing, Nick Fuentes is very, very moderate. In fact, one of the things that I initially criticized Nick Fuentes in the past for was the fact that he's too moderate at times. But yet, someone that is so moderate that it becomes unreasonable to call them extreme, even someone as moderate as Nick Fuentes gets unpersoned by YouTube. But of course, you can criticize capitalists all you want. You can be Bad Mouse Productions and say all sorts of stuff about capitalists, but no, you're not allowed to say mean things about minorities, about groups that the left likes. Okay. Now, two more things that I want to say and then I'll end this video. I'm trying to think of the most polite way to say this possible. Nick Fuentes, over the course of when the whole Groyper thing started, Nick Fuentes rightfully positioned himself as being in opposition to mainstream conservatism, which, if you've watched my videos, I think that mainstream conservatism is an absolute freaking cancer and needs to be completely destroyed or radically reformed, or some combination of the two. So Nick Fuentes has rightfully positioned himself as being in opposition to the Charlie Kirks and the Ben Shapiros and the Steven Crowders and the Hunter Avalones of this world. The more mainstream Rush Limbaugh-ish shills. But Nick Fuentes and his followers, for lack of a better word, have also positioned himself as being the true representatives of the MAGA movement, of the Donald Trump movement. The unfortunate truth is that from a probability point of view, Trump, unfortunately, is far more likely to be in a house party with Charlie Kirk than he is with Nick Fuentes. I mean, heck, Trump is probably partying with Charlie Kirk right now. You think about it like this. Who do you think is more likely to get invited to the White House? Ben Shapiro or Nick Fuentes? Obviously Ben Shapiro. Now, of course, this is not to say that Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk are correct. They're not. They're shills. They're complete imbeciles that should be pushed to the side. But the problem is that Charlie Kirk and people like him are the MAGA movement, whether we like it or not. That's the unfortunate reality. Now, Trump initially said that he wanted to crack down on YouTube tech censorship, but in practice, he's not really doing that. Is Donald Trump defending people like James Allsup? No. Is Donald Trump defending Nick Fuentes? No. No. Mainstream conservatives only seem to care about tech censorship when it's mainstream conservatives being censored. When it's people that deviate from mainstream conservatism, whether it's, moderates like Nick Fuentes or radicals like myself. Then the mainstream conservatives don't really give a shit, now do they? we can't really, it's not really practical to try to attach ourselves to mainstream conservatism or the conservative movement. I'm sorry, but this is the reality. And the banning of Nick Fuentes and the fact that mainstream conservatives are not defending Nick Fuentes even though they claim to be in favor of free speech shows that. You know, people will say things like, oh, the private company, Twitter and YouTube are private companies, they can do whatever they like. Ugh. Just create your own YouTube. Okay, well, what if Nick Fuentes creates his own video sharing service and then the service provider shuts him down? Is Nick Fuentes supposed to create his own service provider in addition to his own video sharing service? No, this is obviously ridiculous. You know, what if a water company says, yeah, we're not going to give Nick Fuentes access to basic plumbing because we don't like his political views? Or what if an electrical company says, yeah, we're not going to give Nick Fuentes electricity because we don't like his political views? You know, that's the logic that you have to follow if you're going to take the absurd position that because an entity is a private company, they should be allowed to engage in censorship. And even if, again, I have my disagreements with Nick Fuentes, but I don't like the idea that people that deviate from the mainstream should be persecuted to the point where they are effectively kicked off of the modern public square. Now, granted, Nick Fuentes still has his DLive channel, but that's unfortunately a much smaller audience. Nick Fuentes is not going to be able to reach the youth in the same way that he did. Okay, one last thing that I'm going to say. I have a BitChute channel. You should be able to find it if you go to my YouTube homepage. Subscribe to my BitChute channel. For those of you that are watching, subscribe to me on BitChute. Okay? Thank you. Please do that. Thank you. If you do that, that will mean a lot. Subscribe to me on BitChute. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video or agreed with anything that I said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Wolf signing out.